This week's parsha we learn about the birth of Yaakov and Esav. Esav got his name Esav because he was very hairy. He had a lot of hair, and therefore he's called Esav. Usually a baby is born with less hair. Doesn't have all his hair. The hair grows in slowly over the years. He had all his hair, so he was called Esav. Asu. Kliyaka says, so here there's a very, very, very deep remiss that really tells us about the future of what Yaakov and Esav are going to be. We know, Kliyaka says, a child is born with he wants to eat. He already understands that he wants to eat. He has all his senses already he has on the first day of his life. But his mental capacity takes years and years to develop, till he starts speaking, till he's able to balance himself. Everything that has to do with his mental development takes years and years. It could take 10, 13, 15 years until a child is really able to think on himself, be able to make calculations, to make intellectual discoveries. This takes a long time. Why is it that a person is born with everything that he needs for his physical sustenance right away, but what he needs for his emotional, for his mental capacity takes years to develop? This is what separates a person from an animal. An animal, whatever he needs, is born with on the very first day. Nothing gets developed further. Very little gets developed. And an animal, from the first day of his life till the 10th year of his life, he's already born with everything he needs. But a person is not like that. But a person uses his intellectual capabilities, his mental capacity, he uses for the things that are supposed to connect him with Kedusha, things that are supposed to connect him with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with the spiritual world. That's what he needs his mind for. That takes years to develop. Esav HaRasha was complete. Even the hair was a symbol. Even though even a child is born without hair, but the hair grows in. He had his hair the first day. He was complete. Everything that he needed for his life was done on the first day. He doesn't need anything else. Yeah, he thinks it's a little easier for him to get his food if he thinks, but at the end of the day, his physical needs is what defines him, and to achieve his physical needs, there's not much difference between the first day of his life and the 100th year of his life. He is born complete. Esav. It's a negative connotation, not a positive connotation. He was born complete. That means that he had nothing to develop anymore. Yaakov has a whole life ahead of him to develop his spiritual side, his mental capacity, his intellectual capacity, because he wants to grow closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person whose entire being is centered around himself, centered around eating and drinking and having physical pleasures, so he's complete on the first day. He doesn't need anything else. Esav was complete on the first day. Good Shabbos.